To another Sunday School Short a little bit later in today. Today's Sunday. I do local worship. I hope you do too. We're in Ezekiel 23 and 24 today. Again, Ezekiel and Jeremiah kind of parallel each other, but Ezekiel's already in Babylon. He's already been exiled, but he is getting prophecies from the Lord, visions from the Lord, messages from the Lord, from the Babylonian side, but they are coming true as we speak. We're ending Jerusalem in the days to come. So, a message from the Lord, Ezekiel 23. Two sisters, one mom, or one mother, they became prostitutes in Egypt. God, married them, both of them. And I'm speaking of Aholah, which is Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom, Israel. Okay, so Samaria is one of them he's speaking of. And Aholibah, which is the other one, Jerusalem, which is the capital of the southern kingdom. For confusion's sake, I'm just going to call them Samaria and Jerusalem, but they're referred to those female Hebrew names. But for our sake, I'm just going to refer to them as Samaria and Jerusalem, meaning the northern kingdom, Israel, and the southern kingdom, Judah. Okay, so Samaria lust after her lovers instead of me, these Assyrian officers. And if you remember, in 722 BC, Assyria came down, swooped down, and crushed and took the northern kingdom, Israel, into captivity, prostituting herself and worshiping their idols. Verse 9, so I handed her over to her Assyrian lovers, whom she desired so much. Verse 10, they stripped her, took away her children as slaves, and killed her. Her other sister, Jerusalem, saw what had happened, yet followed right in her footsteps, and was even more depraved, it says. And in 14, then she carried her prostitution even further, using the paintings of Babylon and just being enamored by the paintings of Babylon, it says, then inviting them to come to her. She committed adultery with Babylon and then rejected Babylon. In verse 18, in the same way I am disgusted with Jerusalem and rejecting her, just as I had rejected her sister. And in 19, yet she turned to even greater prostitution. Jerusalem, I will send your lovers against you from every direction. Babylon, the Chaldeans, the Assyrians, they will come against you from the north, verse 24. And in 31, because you followed in your sister's footsteps, I will force you to drink the same cup of terror she drank, and you will drain that cup of terror to the very bottom. 24, Ezekiel 24, on the 10th day of the 10th month in the ancient Hebrew calendar, on the 9th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity in Babylon. Okay, it says all that in the wording. All that means is a date. It's January 15th, 588 BC. This is just the way they kept dates at the time. So, 10th day, 10th month in the ancient Hebrew calendar of the 9th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity in Babylon. All right, so equates to January 15th, 588 BC. Son of man, write this date down, because this is the very day that the king of Babylon is beginning his attack against Jerusalem. And that siege lasted for 2 years. We know that Jerusalem fell completely by 586 BC. Those are important dates. 1000 BC, King David and King Solomon's time. 722 BC, Israel falls to Assyria. 586 BC, Jerusalem falls to Babylon. Verse 3. Then give the rebels this illustration of this message from the sovereign Lord. And verses 6 through 13 they describe Jerusalem as a cooking pot. And the prepping process for cooking, starting the cooking process. But the pot was so encrusted with sin that it wasn't becoming clean. They had already thrown the food in and that type of stuff. God wanted to clean it, but it was hopeless, it says in verse 12. The corruption can't be cleaned out, so throw it into the fire. And the last part of 13, I tried to cleanse you, but you refused. So now you will remain in your filth until my fury against you is satisfied. In verses 15 through 27, we see Ezekiel's wife dies. Son of man, with one blow I'll take away your dearest treasure. Yet you must not show sorrow at her death. Do not weep. do not have tears. Groan silently, it says in verse 17. And the next evening, his wife actually does die. It goes on to talk about how Ezekiel is an example for the people. See, God defiled the temple, which was the dearest treasure to the people of Judah. They thought they were protected. They thought they were saved and safe because the temple was in Jerusalem. Even though they were doing all this idolatrous acts, they thought, well, you know, God's here. He's in the temple. He's going to save us. We're going to do whatever we want to do. The people were told to mourn not publicly but privately and consider all the evil they had done. Now, all this prophecy against Jerusalem had taken place. It was unfolding, and a survivor was sent from Jerusalem to Babylon to confirm everything that had happened. And then it ends with, and then they will know that I am Lord. This is just a small synopsis of my daily Bible reading in chapters 23 and 24 of Ezekiel. Get into God's Word with me. Like, subscribe, and share if this is a blessing to you.